Welcome to the first day of biology. So we're doing the introduction. We are doing the introduction to biology. This is specifically for those who are writing next year. That is those who are writing GCE, ECZ. So the introduction to biology, that is the first part. Living organisms and life processes. That is what we are going to mainly cover in this part. Okay, so those I've seen some joining. Kindly invite also others. Make sure you share with others as we begin with the introduction. So this is the preparation. This is where it starts from, or this is where we start from in terms of biology. And if you miss it from the introduction, it becomes very difficult to understand whatever comes as we advance in the learning. So everything that we discuss in the introduction, that is what we build up. That is how biology is. So that is what makes simple, what makes biology simple. If you understand the first part, which is the introduction, then you have no problem as we go on, from the introduction, that is where the biology that you are going to learn is built from. In short, from the characteristics, that is where the whole biology that you are going to learn as we go on comes from. So you understand the introduction, which means you have no problem as we go on. So please, like I said, can you share or just kindly help to share with others that might want to join? We are doing the introduction to biology, that is living organisms and life processes. That is the part that we are starting from. And you'll be able to confirm that you are able to get me I'm audible to your end so that we can proceed. So you can just comment in. You are able to get me loud and clear so that we can just proceed. Otherwise, it's an introduction. And to those who are interested to join us for the lessons, that is those who are doing writing GCE next year, or those who are doing internal, you can as well just WhatsApp the number 0976 4063 0976 402563. That is the number if you want to join us. So for biology is only 100 kwacha per month. So you all pay 100 kwacha if you are in Zambia. Outside Zambia is $8 per month. Okay. So please, if you are interested to join, don't hesitate. Let us begin this journey together. Let us begin preparing for distinction. All what you deserve are the good grades, and it all takes preparation. Failure to prepare, then you're going to find it challenging. Let us not be people that start in the last minutes. It's very dangerous. It might not work. If it worked for others, it might not work for you. How do you grasp everything within, let's say, a month or 2 months? So the only thing is to start early. Okay, so we can start with the first part. That is so the topic is living organism and life processes, and what we are going to start with is defining what biology is, since this is the introduction to biology. So firstly, we define what biology is. Okay, so biology is simply the study of living organism. Okay, the study of living organism is what we call biology. So biology is a study of living organisms. Okay, then now there are different branches of biology. Biology, the whole as a subject, it has different branches that you can find. Okay. So the branches or some of the branches of biology that we can discuss or that we are going to discuss are one, botany. So one of the branch of biology is called botany. Now, botany is just simply the study of plants. Okay, so if you major in botany or you want to become a botanist, which means you're going to study plants. The other branch of biology that we can look at is zoology, which is simply the study of animals. So zoology is a study of animals. Okay. Then, of course, the third branch that we can look at is ecology, which is simply the study of interaction of organisms with each other and with their or with the non-living environment, otherwise known also as abiotic. Okay, so it's just a study of interaction of organisms with each other and with non-living organisms. That is how we define ecology. Then biochemistry is one of the branch of biology as well, and this is a study of chemical reactions that occur in living cells, or the study of reaction at cellular level. That is biochemistry. The other one that we can talk of is entomology, which is just a study of insects. So please, like I said, there are different branches of biology that we can talk of. There's microbiology, there's molecular biology, there's genetics, and all that are branches. And I mean, all those are branches of biology. So quite a number of biology. I would say biology is a wide subject. It has a lot of branches. Okay, so for the sake of our study, we are just going to focus on this. And of course, you can look for some more branches as you study. Okay, so now, having looked at the branches of biology, it is now, we can now look at the characteristics of living organisms. From the start, we said biology is a study of living organisms. But how do we know that these are living organisms? What are the characteristics, things that you see or that makes you identify that these are living organisms? What are the characteristics of living organisms? That's a big question that we are going to answer. So now, the living organisms, the characteristics are these that you are able to see. I hope you can make a mnemonic from these characteristics. You can say Mr. Griffiths or Mr. Griffith, or whatever way that can help you, whichever easy way that you can find that can help you to understand the characteristics, then go for it. Okay, otherwise we cannot stick to one, and this is the way to learn the characteristics. So whichever is easy for you, then be able to go for that. So what are the characteristics of living organisms? So the characteristics of living organism, as you can see, this whole mnemonic. So we're going to start from here, looking at them one by one. So the first one is C that we are looking at. What about C? So C is cells. So all living organisms have what? Have cells, okay? All living organisms are made up of cells. As we are going to discuss these characteristics one by one as we go on, but it's very important to know that all living organisms have cells. And of course, the cells are the building block of living organisms. Okay, we're going to go into detail on that as we go on. Then the other one that we can look at is what? I. This I is for irritability, as you can see here, irritability, or you can use S for sensitivity. Okay, so irritability or sensitivity is one of the characteristics of what? Living organisms. So where there's irritability or sensitivity, one and the same. Like I said, we are going to go into detail looking at all these characteristics one by one. Okay, then what about for F? So for F is feeding, okay, feeding, but also you can look at this one as nutrition. Okay, so feeding and nutrition, one and the same. So if you use nutrition, well and good. If you use feeding, well and good. If you use sensitivity, well and good. If you use irritability, you're also okay. So feeding or nutrition, I mean, is one of the characteristic of living organisms. Then we can talk of excretion, that is for E. So for E is excretion. So all the living organisms should be able to excrete. Like I said, we are going to look at this. What does it mean to excrete? What does it mean? Excretion. Then the other one that we can talk of is respiration. Respiration. So respiration Reproduction for this one. The other one, we're going to talk of respiration. So for this R, first R, we are going to say reproduction. Okay, so all living organisms should be able to what? To reproduce. Okay, which means to multiply. So as we go on, we are going to look at this in detail. Like I said, these characteristics is the biology that you are going to learn throughout from the introduction up to the time you're going to finish the course, or they say the program, in 3 years. You cover this in 3 years. That is the whole biology. Then you examine it. So now, reproduction is one of them. Then what about G? So G is growth, growth. So growth, or G for growth. Okay, all living organisms should be able to what? To grow. Okay, despite maybe, okay, let me just say all living organisms should be able to grow. Okay, then this one, that is R, we can put respiration. So the first one we said is reproduction, but it doesn't matter the one that you start with. You can say reproduction for this one, then respiration for this one. You still, in short, there's no order of naming these. Okay, so whichever you say reproduction, whichever you say respiration, so long as there's a respiration and reproduction, then we are well and good. Then M, movement. So M, movement, okay, or locomotion. So movement or locomotion. So take note of these. Okay, so these are the terms that we are going to, these are the characteristics of living organisms. Okay, I guess there's no problem up to this point, because like I said, the introduction is very important, very, very important than even what we are going to look at as we start advancing, as we advance in our learning. So the introduction, quite important. So now, let us just go into detail now and discuss each of them. Let us look at each of them. So those that are part of the class, please, you can just confirm you are able to follow. Okay, you are able to follow, you are able to get me well, and of course, I'm audible to your end. I'll appreciate. And of course, keep inviting others to join the live session as we continue learning. Okay, so now, let us go further now and look at each of the characteristics. So the first one, as you can see, they are named not according to the order that we looked at them, but of course, we are going to start with movement, okay? So the first characteristic, or the characteristic that is here, right here, is movement. So what about movement? Or what is movement, okay? So for movement, we are saying is a process by which living organisms change location. So movement, we are just simply saying the process by which living organisms, of course, change location without external, location and posture. So here you can further add without external what? Um, external force. Okay, so they're able to move. So all living organisms are able to what? To move. Now, the movement of the entire organism from one place to another is what we call locomotion. Remember, we said movement, also alternatively, we can say locomotion. But for locomotion, we are looking at the movement of the entire, okay? The movement of the entire organism from one place to the other. That is what we call, and that is how we define locomotion. Now, since all living organisms are able to move, and in this case we refer to plants and animals, how do plants move? So plants, you see, they are able to move within the fixed position, but animals, they move from one place to the other, which means animal locomote. But for plants, we can stick to movement. I guess that is clear. Then the second that we can discuss, or the second that we can look at, is respiration. And our respiration in general, we can define it as a release of energy from food substances that is inside the living organisms. Respiration is the release of energy from food substances that is inside living organisms. And maybe we can be a bit specific about this food and say it's a release of energy from what? From let's say glucose, okay, inside living organisms. So respiration occur inside the cell then. Okay, now here we can further look at the types of respiration, because here we've just defined respiration in general. So respiration is a release of energy from food substances inside the what? Living organisms. Now, depending with the condition in which the energy is released, respiration is divided into two. What are the division, or what are the types of respiration? We have what you call aerobic respiration and, okay, and anaerobic, okay, anaerobic respiration. So basically, our respiration is divided into two. Okay. Now, what is aerobic respiration? Since we are saying respiration is the release of energy from food substance, and I said depending with a condition. So aerobic respiration is a release of energy from food substances inside living organisms. Now here we are going to say in presence of what? Oxygen. So from this general definition, for aerobic respiration, you can just add in presence of what? In presence of oxygen. So aerobic respiration is a release of energy from food substance in presence of oxygen. The opposite is true for anaerobic respiration. It's a release of energy from food substance. In this case, you can add in absence of oxygen. So this occur in absence of oxygen, and normally it occurs in the muscles, okay, in the muscles. That is very important to understand, okay. I guess there's no problem up to this point. So respiration is a release of energy from food substances. There are two types of respiration, that is aerobic and anaerobic respiration. Aerobic respiration is a release of energy from food substance in living organisms or living cells in the presence of oxygen. Release of energy from food substance in the absence of oxygen. That is very important. Okay, let us move to the other one, which is growth. What is growth? So growth is a permanent increase in size, mass, number of cells, that is in number of cells and complexity of what? Living organisms. Like humans, we start from just a single cell. And now the cell multiply, so the number of cells is increasing. At the same time, we are gaining the mass. We are never the same as we were when we were still in mother's womb.